Welcome back to Brand Lab Conversations, the podcast where we explore the stories, psychology, and strategies behind branding. My name is Abdurrahman.
And I'm Harvey. Today we're going to talk about Debbie Millman's TED Talk, how symbols and brands shape our humanity.
Right, this isn't your typical logo and marketing tips kind of talk. It's about how branding has been tailored to human psychology.
We'll be breaking it down step by step and reacting to it and talking about why it matters to build a brand in this day and age.
Welcome back to Brand Lab Conversations, the podcast where we explore stories, psychology, and strategies behind branding. My name is Abdurrahman, and I got a background in business enterprise. That's the course I'm currently doing in university. So right now I'm really looking into e-commerce. I want to start e-commerce business soon. So I'm going to pass it on to my colleague, Harvey.
Hi, I'm Harvey, and today we're going to be talking about Debbie Millman's TED Talk on how symbols and brands shape our humanity. I've had a recent past of the past year or so working in a family business about food production and stuff, so I've been looking into branding and how I can use this in my own business.
So when you're considering branding, it's not just about the logo. Branding nowadays has a deeper meaning. Like, think about it. It has an actual story behind it.
So we're going to break it down like step by step on how a company builds a brand, from the logo to the meaning behind it, and just how it's done in this day and age.
So, Debbie Millman starts by reminding us that branding isn't just about the brand name. Branding actually has a deeper meaning. For example, when we look at companies like Nike, Coke, or any modern company, it has stuff such as religious icons, flags, symbols. These things are the underlying stuff that us as humans make us connect to the brand.
Yeah, and that can be shown throughout our past and history of humans. That from the start of time, before languages were a thing, people used to communicate by drawing pictures on the walls, saying like, "This is me," or like, "This is my group. This is what I believe." And so, it's before languages were a thing. People used to always look at symbols as a way of like shortcuts.
And the whole point is that logos today, in today's age, are basically the same thing. So back in the day, we used to have stuff such as, religious symbols. We used to have, flags and all of that stuff. We do have that now as well. But philosophy ties that into modern branding.
Yeah, I completely get that. It's like the way you look at a football badge. It's not about just representing the team. It's representing like the story behind the team and where they come from, and it's being devoted to it. It's this whole lifestyle, if you want to say.
I myself, I'm really into football, and for example, the team I support is called Chelsea. If you look at the logo, it's like a lion. It's a blue lion, and I always thought of myself as a lion. Someone that never gives up, always gives it his 100%. So that shows how branding is implemented. So yeah, when I was actually listening to the podcast, one thing that really stood out to me was when she mentioned how we treat brands like religions. Like, I'm not joking when I say this here. We actually get attached to them emotionally.
Yeah, I get that completely. It's like more of a subconscious thing. It's not like you go out your way saying, "Oh, this is me, this is that." But you look at a brand symbol and, like, say you're wearing a Nike hoodie, you might wear it because you like the hoodie, but deep down, it's subconsciously you might be thinking, "I wear this because I like the lifestyle of Nike and the meaning behind it." It's like always strive to do better.
A really good idea that demonstrates this is a MacBook. So, for example, if I own a MacBook or a friend of mine owns a MacBook, for me, my first thought should be, this person is someone that's sleek. He's someone that likes to keep it easy, and he's someone very creative. He likes to think outside the box. It almost gives off that modern vibe.
Yeah, that's completely that's what Millman was getting to the point of in a TED Talk, saying that it's not just logos, it's what people feel when they see the logo. It's like the small things, the little symbols that it represents, and that builds up into like a huge pile of emotions.
Now, after that, she goes on to how branding is basically a way of storytelling. Think about it. Like, if you're a kid, if I just tell you a name of a brand like Nike, you won't really know much about it. But if I tell you the story behind it, you'd get much more attached. And this is what we're seeing a lot more common in this day and age.
Yeah, if you look at the bigger brands out there and like the strongest brands, they don't really sell the product, they sell more of a worldwide view of it. It's like, for example, Patagonia, they're not just sell mountain wear jackets and all this, but it's about protecting the planet. And again, Nike, it's more about the confidence and always pushing to your limits. And again, with the kids, say Disney, it's about the story of imagination, promoting creativity.
A symbol only becomes powerful when you attach a story to it. This basically means, if you just got a symbol with no story behind it, it doesn't hold much value. But if you can attach a meaningful story that resonates with a lot of people, you'll get a lot more people attached to your brand.
I get what you're saying. It's like the designer don't make the logo and build a brand, but the brand comes with how people connect with the logo and how they see the logo. It's not just about the brand designing the logo. It's about how it gets an audience to engage with their brand.
Yeah, so as myself, if I'm a consumer, I would always want to purchase a product if it has a nice story behind it, For example, if I'm looking at shoes, like right now I'm wearing some Adidas, Adidas has a very nice brand story behind it. It was started by two brothers, Adi and Gus. So yeah. One of the most interesting points she makes is the shift from top down to bottom down branding.
Yeah, like before it used to be companies putting their message out there, controlling everything, but now it kind of starts at the bottom where like you got the consumers and the customers, they build up and they've got a huge say in what your brand represents.
So yeah, when we're talking about this, we really are talking about stuff like, memes. Nowadays in TikTok, you're seeing a lot more brands use, how do I say this, brain rot content, if you call it that. But it's really and truly all just to engage that demographic. So
yeah, and then Milman then goes on to talk about how companies use like colours and symbols and slogans to like suggest different things. But again, it's like think about a rainbow flag. You might in your head you might think, oh, it's a rainbow, but through recent times it's more about it represents the whole LGBTQ community, and that's like one way to show that it's about the culture as well.
And for businesses nowadays, that means that they don't have control anymore, meaning they don't push the narrative. The narrative is not pushed by the public. So this shows the shift from business to the public. So it's really and truly business now have to tailor their branding to the public.
Yeah, that shows how, like, again, you're saying it's no longer top down, it's bottom up. And yeah, it's the brand nowadays is something that you build with your audience rather than you build it and give it them on a plate, where it's like you come together and build your brand as a group, as a collective.
So this is where things get very technical and practical. People think often that branding is only for big companies, but in Millman's philosophy, it's very clear that small brands can create powerful meanings too.
Definitely, like your brand isn't just your logo anymore. I'll be working with my parents in a small family business where we sell spices and stuff, and we really understand that it's about what people think when they hear your name or they see your packaging.
So would you agree that you have to kind of push a message that shows that you guys are for the people and not just for the money,
100%, because that's really what differentiates you from everyone else on the shelf. Like everyone can sell a certain spice on the shelf, but you got to see like how people feel when they read your name or they feel your packaging. If it's a higher quality, of course they're gonna want it more. And also, you got to think that when they're cooking at home, how it looks on their shelf, when they open the packet, the smells they get, and think about that kind of the memories it holds. Like they might be reminded every time they open a box of your spice about a family meal they had one time, and they're always going to want to chase that and replicate that again and again, and that builds kind of a customer relationship.
Yeah, I really like that concept of originality, standing out from the competitors, having an origin story, a story that people can resonate with.
Yeah, thank you. It's not just about selling a product anymore, it's about selling a feeling and an identity almost.
So this really, for me, it really highlights how a symbol becomes a shortcut to trust, right? So near the end, Millman talks about where branding is heading, and she thinks it will keep evolving as culture evolves. So what I get from that is, what she's trying to say is, as the culture, like, the Gen Z to the millennials, like, as this process keeps on moving along, like, it will keep changing the narrative. That makes sense.
100% get what you mean. It's like the future of branding isn't just about what it used to be. Now it's like brands are kind of selling a community, a movement, and they bring their own values into a lifestyle. And people want to be part of something meaningful. They don't just want to buy stuff for the sake of buying it, if you understand it.
Yeah. And with the introduction of AI, online shopping and stuff like that, this is even going to become more important. So we're gonna see more and more brands, how do I say it, push like a message that entails that they actually resonate with the people and they're not just there to make money. They're just selling this persona, if you want to call it that.
Yeah, it's crazy to even like think about before AI and how digital e-commerce and all that, how people used to brand, but now it's so much easier. People can like have their own styles and symbols and how they set up their websites. It's all part of the brand.
So it'll be really So it'll be really interesting to see how businesses in the future, will it be the same? Will normal theory be true? Or you never know, it might change. Corporations might take control. So it'll be a really interesting thing to keep a close eye on.
Yeah, it'll be really interesting to find out what happens next.
Yeah. Alright, Harvey, final question. What's one thing you think listeners should remember from this talk?
One thing that I should remember is that branding isn't human. It's more emotional. It's ancient. If you're gonna build a brand, you shouldn't start with a logo. You should start with like what your brand really stands for, the meanings, the values.
Yeah, I love that, man. My takeaway is that we just don't pick brands. We use them to express ourselves. So what I mean by that is, if I'm gonna rock like some shoes, the brand that I'm wearing, it must resonate with my personality.
Yeah, 100%. And to all the listeners that haven't watched Debbie Millman's podcast yet, or TED Talk, sorry, definitely worth a watch, and it'll take you like throughout her thoughts and your takes on branding out there.
Yeah, thank you guys for listening. Yeah, if you liked the episode, make sure to give us a like and a follow. Cheers.
Okay, see you next time.